All right, so we got UFC Fight Night Macau this weekend. Petr Yan versus Davison Figueiredo, a sick main event. I think this is going to be a pretty good card. Starts at 3 o'clock Eastern time, the prelims that is, and then goes all the way until the main card starts 6 a.m. Eastern time. So it's going to be a long night. American fans are finally going to understand how the rest of the world feels when the UFC comes on in the middle of the night. But yeah, I'll watch it because this controls my life. So, yep, we're going to watch it, and I'm just going to give you my picks and predictions for the whole card. We're going to go all the way with the early prelim, all the way to the main event, and my record overall is 297 and 178, so not too bad. 1-7-5 on the Jones card, but it is what it is. There were a couple tricky ones on that card, but we're going to get right into it with Mahashate versus Nicholas Mota. I wish that they had this a little bit later on the card. It's a pretty decent fight. Nicholas Mota liked one of my reels, so based. But I'm going to go with Mahashate here, guys. I think Mahashate is going to win a decision here. There is finishing potential. Nicholas Mota does hit very, very hard. But I do think Mahashate at his age is just getting better consistently every fight as we see. And the more experience the guy has, the better he's going to continue to get. And I think they're giving him good competition in Nicholas Mota here, where someone that's going to want to stand and strike with him and kind of play the game Mahashate likes to play. Nicholas Mota is, again, powerful. Like, he can throw one of those step-in elbows, and, like, he's decent. But I think Mahashate is going to look too slick, too technical, too fast, and I think he's going to win a decision here, just outstriking Nicholas Mota. Could see a finish. I don't rule out a finish, but I just think Mahashate is going to be able to stay on the outside and then eventually pick his shots as Nicholas Mota comes in. Have moments where he's tagging Mota. Also think, just this being in Macau, if it goes to a decision and it's a close fight, probably going to go to Mahashate. You're going to see that a couple times tonight. So I'm going Mahashate to win a decision over Nicholas Mota. We're going to move on. Kong Lee. Ew. I'm going to go with Kang Lee over Zhao Long. I did not think Zhao Long looked that good in his past fight. Going to be real. Lost to Kang Ho Lee. Kang Ho Lee, I just remember that fight being mostly like Zhao Long kind of like begging for grappling. And then Kang Ho Lee just blasting knees to the body. I think that there is some body work that can be done here against Zhao Long that Kang Lee can take advantage of. And Kang Lee's last fight was against Chris Gutierrez. He looked better against Chris Gutierrez than Zhao Long looked against Kang Ho Lee. It was kind of a scrap, but Zhao Long did lose. I do think it was the right decision. Took a lot of those body knees, man, and I think that's something that Kang Lee might be able to watch tape and realize that Zhao Long is going to want to go for clinch a lot. You can just blast knees to the body and then hopefully shrug him off and then land your striking. I also like the grappling skill of Kang Lee to make sure that this fight doesn't get to the ground, or if it does, it's more on his terms. Not that he's really a submission threat, but I just think on the ground it's going to be more his way. Yeah, I'm going to go Lee to win by decision here. I think this is going to be a scrappy fight that is probably going to be pretty fun, but it's going to be a little bit lower level. It's going to look like they're just, not UFC caliber when they obviously, they're fighting in the UFC right now. Yeah, I rate Kang Lee's loss over Chris Gutierrez more than I rate Zhao Long's loss against Kang Ho Lee. So, is what it is. I'm going with Kang Lee. Mixed up the name 16 different times. You know who I'm talking about. I think he's going to be able to defend these takedowns of Zhao Long's attempts, stay on the feet, and then maybe even get a takedown of his own eventually. So I'm going to go with Kang Lee. I also think that Zhao Long has a cardio problem that showed itself a little bit against Kang Ho Lee. So I'm going with Kang Lee against Zhao Long by decision. Moving on. Jose Ochoa versus Lonair Kavanagh. I'm going with Lonair Kavanagh by knockout. I think it's going to happen in round 2. Ochoa does have a couple of first-round finishes on his record, but he does. I just think if this gets into the later rounds, he can gas out. I've seen Kavanagh able to go to a decision before and look good in the decision. Think he's just overall a better fighter. He had a very impressive knockout on Dana White's Contender Series that had everyone talking. And I think he's going to ride that momentum into a big win here against Ochoa. I'm going to go with Kavanaugh to win by knockout in round 2. Think he's going to look really good in round 1, landing big shots on Ochoa, but the first 2 minutes is going to be very hesitant. The guys aren't going to really know. They're going to be a little bit timid, I think. And then once the fists start flying, they're really going to fly for this entire fight until there's a knockout. At flyweight, I'm going with Kavanaugh to get the knockout win. I'm doing it in round 2 here. Think he can also win a decision, so if this does go to decision, it's going to be Kavanaugh probably, so I'm going to go with Kavanaugh to win this fight. Moving on, Nayam Dragal versus Tudor Mbaka. We're going NT versus Carlos Hernandez. I'm going to go with Carlos Hernandez. I get that NT has some good grappling and has some submissions on his record and isn't bad. He's undefeated. But Carlos Hernandez has faced better competition. He's faced great grapplers like Tatsuro Taira, and he did take him to the second round before he got TKO'd and had a little bit of a battle with him. Didn't make it as easy on Taira as a lot of people always think it's going to be. Yeah, I'm going Carlos Hernandez because he also fought Ray Soroya. Ray Soroya is pretty decent. He's outlasted a decision, and he had moments in that fight where it was like, oh, it's not the easiest fight for Ray Soroya either, and I do think Ray Soroya is going to be pretty good for that flyweight division. I'm going to go with Carlos Hernandez to win this fight, and I think he's going to be able to just out-scramble NT here, and I think that's going to eventually start to tire out NT, where Carlos Hernandez is just going to get a volume-based knockout / TKO in round 3, raining down combinations like an avalanche. Carlos Hernandez, round 3, volume-based TKO is what I'm calling on this one. So we're going with Carlos Hernandez here. Do we even have an upset yet? Kung Lee's an upset. That's the only one we did so far. Shai Ming versus Fang Zhaoken. Not going to lie, don't really know much about these ladies, but I'm going to go with the 10-2. I'm going with Zhaoken. She's the favorite. I'm going to trust the odds makers on this one. I also like that she's able to get this fight to the ground, especially in a women's fight. I think that matters. I think it's going to be able to have those moments where they steal rounds. I'm going with Fang Zhaoken. I don't really know much about these ladies, not going to lie, but Zhaoken is bigger. She's younger. Not that Shai Ming isn't in her prime or anything, but I'm going to go Zhaoken because she's bigger, she's younger. Looks like she has better output. She can implement grappling better, and I think that's just going to be able to do enough to get her the fight. I'm trusting the odd makers here. I'm going with Fang Zhaoken. Kairu Sahota versus Dun Hong Choi. A lot of mispronunciations on this card for me, guys. I don't really know what to do about it. Don't really know how I feel about it, if I'm being real, but I'm going to go with Sahota to win a decision here. He's bigger. He has more decisive wins. Like, when you look at Dong Hong Choi's record, it's split. I think it's back-to-back split decisions on the road to the UFC. We'll pull it up and take a look here. It is. Back-to-back split decisions. Don't like to see that. Really don't. He had a head kick KO / TKO in February. I do like to see that, but yeah, he's undefeated. But he's smaller, man. He's smaller, and I get that he may have moments where he's able to implement in the grappling here, but I'm going to trust Kairu Sahota to get this done. Trusting his takedown defense, hopefully, and I think his range is going to be a lot. 73 inches to 66 inches in reach is a lot, especially if the guy you're facing is, not the best of the best in grappling. Like, Dong Ho Choi can grapple, but he's not elite enough to the point where I think he's going to be able to just hold Kairu Sahota down the whole time. I'm going to go with Kairu Sahota. I think he's going to win a decision here. It's my best bet. His wins are a little bit more decisive on road to the UFC. They're not splits, even though he does have a split. So he does have a split decision here, but he also has a knockout on his resume in the first round. Has another second round knockout there. He lost in Cage Warriors the second he went there, but it's a better promotion. I get it. And then he's got a unanimous decision victory here going in as well. So I'm going to go with Kairu Sahota to win a decision. Again, don't know too much about some of these guys in the prelims. Hopefully I can just pull a good record out of my ass. But last prelim before we get to the fighters that I know like the back of my hand, Su Young Yu versus Bahrain Jael Isi. Call him BJ because I don't fucking know how to pronounce any of these names. I do know Su Yung, and the reason why is because I'm a big Rush Hour fan. So I'm going to go with Su Yung Yu because I love the movie Rush Hour, and all I can picture in my head is Chris Rock saying Su Yung, or Jackie Chan saying Su Yung, looking for the girl that was missing in Rush Hour. I trust the grappling of Su Yung too. Think he's going to be able to get this to the ground. Think he might have moments where he can hold BJ down. Listen, BJ's got a submission game. I don't think he's going to get the sub on Su Yung. Su Yung just seems like one of those guys that doesn't really have a neck, and he's going to be hard to submit. And I think BJ is just going to have one of these moments where all fight, he's getting taken to the ground, he's letting it happen because he thinks he can get a submission win, and he just stays on the ground going for submissions and loses rounds because he's not in the dominant position, and Su Yung is. So I'm going to go with Su Yung to win a decision here just by being a grappling fest and no finishability in this fight. So I'm going Su Yung Yu. Love the movie Rush Hour. All right. Let's get to the ones that we really know here. Ming Yang Zhang versus Ozzy Diaz. I'm actually a big Ming Yang Zhang guy. Love his fight style. Think he's electric. Goes in there, swings heavy leather all the time. Now, Ozzy Diaz likes to swing leather too. But I'm going to go with Ming Yang Zhang. I think he's the faster guy. I remember Ozzy Diaz getting knocked out by Joe Pyfer, but if I'm going to be real, I think Ming Yang Zhang gets knocked out by Joe Pyfer too, even though he's a weight class above. I just think Ming Yang Zhang's faster. I like the straight punches. I like the age. He's 26 here, and Ozzy Diaz is 33. Not the 33 super old for the fight game, but I like Ming Yang Zhang in this fight. Liked his knockout over Benison Hiberio. We haven't seen anyone else knock out Benison Hiberio yet, and there have been moments where they could. Now, I understand he fought shit competition, but I'm going to go with Ming Yang Zhang, dude. If it goes to decision, again, I think he gets it, but I think he's getting a first-round knockout. These guys are going to swing leather. It's going to be a straight 1-2 down the middle that sits down Ozzy Diaz, and then he's going to get the follow-up finish. Ming Yang Zhang, round 1 knockout. Think this guy's got nukes in his hands, man. He's really, really fun to watch, and I'm pulling for him. I'm a Ming Yang Zhang fan. We're going Ming Yang Zhang, round 1 knockout. Sick fight here. Carlos Ulberg, Volkan Ozdemir. Volkan can absolutely win this fight. Absolutely. He has dynamite in his hands. But the thing is, he's a little bit slower and a little bit plottier. And Carlos Ulberg's no Johnny Walker where you hit him once and he's going out. He's not. Now, I know Volkan Ozdemir has good wins on his resume as well. I think, who else was the win? I know he beat Paul Craig, but come on. So did Bo Nickel. Bogdan Guskov, he subbed. I rate that very, very highly. He lost a decision to Krylov, but Krylov's a tough fight. Lost a decision to Ankh, won a decision against Paul Craig. He's been knocked out by Yuri, so he has fought the best of the best. He really has fought some of the best in the division here. And he's 1 win away from probably looking at close to a title shot. After Ankh, let's be real. Has to be after Ankh, or I might start getting a little upset with that. I can't believe I'm saying it, that, Magomed Ankalaev's the one that deserves it. But Carlos Ulberg's super fast, and I think he's going to be able to use his low kicks really well. And City Kickboxing always has that the guy in the gym that they're working on at that moment. It was Izzy and Volk when they were at the top. Now, Dan Hooker is starting to rise up there. I bet he's getting even more attention and stuff now. And I think Carlos Ulberg's one of those guys at City Kickboxing that they're really, really behind. They're working with a lot because they see him as the next potential title challenger. Maybe Kai Kara France as well. But Carlos Ulberg with a win here could be staring down a title shot as well. I'm going to go with Ulberg to win here. I think he's going to be too fast for Volkan Ozdemir, and I think he's going to use low kicks early on in this fight to really hamper the movement of Volkan Ozdemir, take the power away a little bit. Volkan Ozdemir is going to be good. He's going to be calm. He's going to try and time those low kicks, but I think they're going to be strong enough from Ulberg early that even if he's trying to time the low kicks, the damage is being done to the leg, and it just gets harder, and Ozdemir gets a little slower. Then Ulberg's got that sick check hook that I think he's going to be able to use. I think he's going to be able to, use the jab, then fake like he's throwing the hook, but really slap a hand away, throw a 2 down the middle, have success that way, and then be able to follow up a straight jab with an actual hook by doing things like that. So I think he can set up that hook by throwing the jab, faking a hook off it, really slapping the hand away and throwing the 2 down the middle. So that way the next shot, it's the jab. Volkan thinks the hook's coming to slap his hand away. Instead, he just throws it harder, lands it on the chin, and has a moment where he wobbles Ozdemir, wins a round there, and then just outpaces and outlands Volkan Ozdemir to a decision victory. I'm going to go Carlos Ulberg to win a decision here. Really fun fight, really heavy, really like high stakes fight. But I'm going to go with Olberg here. I think the speed is going to be good for him. I think he's in the better gym. He hasn't faced as good a competition as Ozdemir, which does scare me a little bit, but I think he's good enough where he's going to be too quick for Ozdemir, and the low kicks are going to do a lot for him. So it's going to be Carlos Olberg, and I'm going to pick him to win a decision. A lot of people I think are going to pick a knockout here. I think Ozdemir is going to stay in this enough where it's just a decision. But don't worry, a knockout's coming here, and it's coming in the first round. Wang Cong, my favorite women's fighter so far, literally dresses up as the Joker, puts the Joker face mask on. Why can't I talk, guys? The Joker face mask on, 6 stare downs, and then goes out there and knocks out an opponent flat. We don't see that in the women's division often, just laying your opponent out flat. Wang Cong did it. She's got all the hype behind her, and I'm going to ride it. I think that Wang Cong is nasty. I think she's going to find her way to a title shot in the next 3 years. This is the prospect that I'm watching out for. She's fun. Every time I'll watch her, she's going to be fun. And I think Gabrielle Fernandez is the perfect opponent for her to just knock out in the first round. I think Gabrielle Fernandez isn't that good. Has not faced the best of competition. She hasn't been finished yet, but I think this is the one where she does. She had a split decision with Carly Judice that some people think she lost. Then she lost a decision to Teresa Bleda, who stinks. Lost a decision to Jasmine Jasudavicius, who isn't bad, but I think Wang Cong beats her too. So I'm going to go with Wang Cong to win this fight. This is a striker versus a striker fight. I don't think Gabrielle Fernandez is that good. And I think that the back kick is going to be right there for Wang Cong to land. It's southpaw versus southpaw, but Wang Cong, I think, really can switch it up, and I think she's going to be able to land the shot that knocks out Gabrielle Fernandez in round 1. I'm going to call a head kick here. I think we're going to see a head kick. Wang Cong, round 1 KO by head kick. Song Kanan versus Muslim Salikov. Now, I get Muslim Salikov looked good against Ponzinibbio. Debatably lost the fight, too. Just saying. I think Song Kanan's better. I do. I think Song Kanan's going to win this fight. He's now racking up a couple wins on his resume. Coming up, he's got momentum. He's got momentum coming in this fight. Not that Salikov doesn't, because he just beat Ponzinibbio, but Song Kanan just battered Ricky Glenn. He lost to Kevin Jousset. I get it. He lost to Kevin Jousset, but Kevin Jousset's pretty decent, man. He's got great striking. Comes from that city kickboxing gym. And then Song Kanan beats up Rolando Bedoya, who's probably faster than him. Yeah, he got knocked out by Machado Gary, but he actually hurt Ian Gary. He lost to Max Griffin. It's not a great look, but I just think he's... when I watch him fight, I get he's no stud, but he's gotten better in each performance that I've watched him. So I'm going to go with Song Kanan here against an aging Muslim Salikov, who I don't think has a chin anymore. I think Song Kanan's actually going to be able to knock him out. I think we're going to see a good, tight combination from Song Kanan that knocks him out. We're looking at Muslim Salikov here. Yes, he's fought decent competition, but he hasn't fought Ian Gary yet. Hasn't had a moment against a guy like Ian Gary. He got knocked out by Randy Brown. No one gets knocked out by Randy Brown. Decision win, split over Ponzinibbio that a lot of people thought he lost, including myself. Nicholas Dalby he lost to, which is honestly pretty decent competition, but I'm going to go with Song Kanan here. He's 34. Muslim Salikov's 40. I get he has some cool technique. I really don't think he's that good at this point in his career. I think he's a lot slower than he used to be. And I think Song Kanan, while he is a little bit slow, I think he's going to pack the power here. And I think he's going to be able to catch Muslim Salikov and knock him out. I'm going with a round 2. It's going to be a combination that ends with a hook. And it's just going to sit Salikov down and we're going to see a knockout. Going Song Kanan, knockout, round 2. There's another underdog pick for you. I think we've only done 2 so far. We'll see how the Sahota fight comes out in terms of odds. But yeah, we've only had 2 so far. Not opposed. I can't keep picking so many underdogs on every card, guys. Yan Xiaonan, Tabitha Ricci. I'm going Yan Xiaonan. I actually think Tabitha Ricci's a terrible fighter. She's won her last 2 fights by robbery decision because she's hot and she's banging Callum Walsh. Dana White wants to push everything Callum Walsh, so he's going to just gift Tabitha Ricci decisions. But guess what? That ain't happening in China, little bro. Yan Xiaonan is going to make this one look easy. She is going to dominate Tabitha Ricci in every aspect of the fight. I get it, dude. Tabitha Ricci's a babe. Absolute babe. But she's not winning this one. She's not. She's not getting her robbery. Dude, you look at this fight to Angela Hill. I thought she lost clearly. I thought she lost 2 rounds to 1 very clearly. Judges gave her a unanimous decision. She definitely lost to Tisha Pennington. Judges gave her a unanimous decision. She lost super clearly to Lupa Godinez. A judge gave her a scorecard. She's getting robbery decisions, and at some point you're going to come up against someone that's good enough that is going to stop you. Yan Xiaonan was able to have success against Zhang Wei Li in the grappling. She was able to have success in the striking. What do you think she's going to do to Tabitha Ricci? Yan Xiaonan is my lock of the card here. I think she wins this fight. I think she's going to get a finish. I think she's going to catch Tabitha Ricci blitzing for a shit takedown and just catch her with a counter right, kind of similar to Andrade. Thing is, Andrade was spamming hooks. I think Ricci's going to be running in looking to clinch grab. I could see a punch landing and then a follow-up knee that just sits Tabitha Ricci down and Yan Xiaonan goes in for the finish. I think Yan Xiaonan's a very, very good fighter. Very entertaining fighter, someone in the women's division that I very much enjoy watching. I'm going to go with Yan Xiaonan to get a finish here. I truly think she is head and shoulders above Tabitha Ricci. You're going to see how big of a skill gap there is here. Tabitha Ricci is only in this position because she's getting robbery wins. She's making these fights super close with these lower level competition girls. Yan Xiaonan's going out there and having a scrap with Zhang Wei Li. I'm going Yan Xiaonan. I think this is the easiest pick on the card and it's only minus 200. Yan Xiaonan's going to win this fight and she's going to get a finish. I think knockout in one of the later rounds. Yan Xiaonan's the pick. Petr Yan, Davison Figueiredo, dare I say, soon to be a top 10 fight of this year. I've wanted to see this fight for so long. Petr Yan, incredible boxer, great Muay Thai striker, has tremendous grappling as well, great counter grappling. Figueiredo, great striker, great grappling, one of the best to do it. This guy is going to end up in a top 20 GO list at some point in his career. I'm telling you, with the resurgence of his career at bantamweight and only losing to Brandon Moreno because he got so bored of fucking fighting him so that he wasn't, it didn't look like he was just showing up in those fights. This is going to be a sick fight. Now, I'm going to let you know right now, I'm going with Petr Yan because it's a 5-round fight. 3 rounds, I actually think I would give the edge to Figgy here by being patient and being able to take 2 rounds. And I think Petr Yan's going to lose round 1 in this fight. I think he's going to spend all of round 1 making reads, throwing his shots, seeing what Figgy does off of his shots, and I think we're going to see a patient Figgy, and round 1's going to be slow. But as Petr Yan starts to pick it up in round 2, 3, 4, you're going to see Figgy start to land some counters that are going to be good, have moments where he hurts Yan. He's going to shoot takedowns, maybe get a takedown at one point, but Yan's going to have a crazy scramble out. The scrambles in this fight are going to be insane. The striking levels in this fight are going to be insane. I think you're going to see a lot of kicks from Petr Yan, and I think that's what's going to win him this fight, is his kicks to the body. He's going to be able to throw a spin kick. He's going to be able to have combinations ending with a kick and blast low kicks that are really going to hurt Figgy. And I think his technical boxing is just better. Figgy has tremendous counters, which do scare me a little bit, and he has power in his hands, even carrying to bantamweight. That's how you know this guy hits that fucking hard. He knocked down Chito Vera. I think Jan's going to end up winning this fight 49-46. Think it's going to be close. I think round 1's going to go to Figgy. I think round 2 is going to be close, but go to Petr. 3 is going to be a big Petr round. 4 is going to be a big Petr round. 5, Figgy's going to bounce back, make it close, but lose the round. It's going to be a 49-46 Petr Yan decision here. And he's drawn into a rematch with O'Malley. Like, that's what I'm seeing in this fight. A rematch with O'Malley would look really, really good for his resume if he can get that one back, considering probably won the first fight. Probably did. You can score it for O'Malley, but I do think it was Petr Yan. But anyway, Petr Yan, Davison Figueiredo is going to be a sick fight. Now, Figgy can get a submission here. I actually really do think Figgy can get a submission if they end up in a dangerous scramble. But I think Petr Yan's so good at scrambling that he knows he knows where the submissions are going to come from. I expect him to have been training hard. He's younger, and I think he's faster than Figgy. Figgy's fast. Don't get me wrong, he's very fast, especially for bantamweight. I just think Jan's faster, and I think he puts his combinations together better. Single shot knockout power, it's going to Figgy. Figgy has the single shot knockout power, and I love the way he digs the right hook to the body after going up top. Both guys have tremendous fight IQ, but it's going to be Figgy landing the individual shots here, and Petr Yan landing the combinations and being able to scramble out of the takedown attempts from Figueiredo that win Yan the fight. As the fight progresses, I do expect to see Figgy getting more tired and more tired and more tired. Figgy's gas tank isn't terrible, but it's not at the same level Jan's is. Jan continues to tune that fight up, and people are going to look at the Merab fight. Dude, Jan gassed out. Buddy, I don't care who. Anthony Hernandez is gassing out if Merab is shooting 50 takedowns on him. Like, it is what it is. That's how fighting goes. The guy's defending takedowns all fight. He's going to be tired. I don't think he's going to have to defend him at the volume in which Figgy's going to be throwing them at him. So I'm going to go with Petr Yan to win a decision here, 49-46, an extremely high level, extremely technical, but extremely fun fight. Now, don't get me wrong. I think round one is going to be a little bit boring. But once round one ends, round two starts, things are going to pick up about halfway through round two, and we're going to have a banger of a fight. Dare I say a top 10 fight of the year. And it's going to be big implications. If Figgy wins, it's a title shot. I actually think he jumps Umar for a title shot if he beats Petr Yan. If Yan wins, don't think he's getting the title shot. I think you give it to Umar, and then you do Yan versus O'Malley. The winner gets the winner of the title shot between Merab and Umar. That's how you set up the bantamweight division. These are the UFC Macau predictions. I'm super excited for this card. I'm going to wake up and watch it. Maybe the prelims I'm going to go back and watch, but I'll be up at 6 o'clock watching the whole main card, and I'll be able to get back to you at the end of the card. We're going to have the recap out that day for you. I'm super excited for this fight. Hope you guys are too, because Figgy versus Yan is about to be a banger. We have wanted to see this fight for so long, since Yan was bantamweight champion and Figgy was light flyweight champion. We have wanted to see the two clash together. I think it's all respect. I think there's going to be a little bit of grittiness and stuff shown at the face-offs, but I do think at the end of this, it's all respect. They're in there for a big sport. I think they actually are going to find that they like each other, and it's going to be it's going to be a great. This is going to be a true martial arts fight. I cannot wait. The high-level fight that this is going to be, it's giving me goosebumps just talking about it right now. I'm going Yan by decision. It's going to be a sick fight. Make sure you tune in UFC Macau this weekend. If you enjoyed the video, please